Yeah, I just don't. I'm not a fan. I think I prefer the round ones. Go back to the round ones. The round ones just. I don't know what it is. They just. I think it's just the bottoms look a bit chunkier. Hey all, Dave's here, back with another house for video. So we're back at the house in the thicket. In the last episode, we got the sort of rough layout of this place sorted out. We whitewashed all the walls, cleared all the junk, and yeah, so got the sort of floor plan laid out. We put in the kitchen, which I'm really happy about, and you guys seem to like. So thank you very much for all the likes and positivity on that one. And yeah, so I think we're going to focus today on these two rooms. And I'm going to do what I usually do and sort of just jump ahead and progress through this. But just before I go through and do that, I just want to sort of talk quickly about the flow. So I mentioned this briefly in an episode the last episode. There's a sort of key. I think the key to things looking even like visually nice is if you can imagine them kind of feeling like you would move through the rooms properly. So we saw in the last episode I talked about how I'd sort of staggered this hallway back. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out. But basically what I'm saying is, because I put this wider wall here, then narrower still, when you actually stand at the door, it kind of draws your eye towards the kitchen or down the hallway rather than just kind of, if that was a flat wall, it wouldn't do that so much. The same sort of applies, well, a couple of immediate places where this is going to apply. I think I briefly talked about this in the last episode, but the key to this room and the trick to this room, one of the challenges to this whole house really, is getting the flow right. And because I've created this kind of odd little island in the middle, I now have a room that is essentially a bit of a corridor. It's a bit of a three-way corridor. So if you can imagine, if you were coming into this room, well, if you were living here, obviously this is massively hypothetical, but if you were living here, you would be most likely coming down the hallway and going into the living room or into the kitchen. It's going to be less common that you're going to go from the front door into the dining room if we make this a dining space, which I think we're going to. You will also be quite likely to be going from the kitchen into the dining room. If you imagine how people live, they're going to go probably from the living room to the dining room or from the kitchen to the dining room, but you're very rarely, I think, ever going to be going from the hallway directly into the dining room. So the reason why I'm saying all that is if it was most common that you would be going from this hallway through this room into the dining room, then you'd need to make sure this was clear. This path was clear, and it would effectively be a bit like a hallway. Like imagine putting something in this hallway that would block your route off. It would just feel wrong. So I think we can have something here. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be yet, but I think a sofa could go there and it wouldn't feel too odd that you can't go from the quickest route through that room. I hope that all makes sense. There's another quick point on this as well, which is a really simple one, which I noticed when I watched the video back. The front door. So the way that they've created this door in this house is they've put it in that way round, and I think unfortunately you can't actually use the doors the other way around, but I'm going to use it the other way around anyway, because one of the things I have, and I think you would see this really in your house if it was designed this way, because this way round that we've currently got it, as I open the door, I'm blocked. My view down the hallway is immediately blocked by the door. So if you imagine you're showing someone into your house, or even you're just coming into your house, the front door immediately blocks the view of the rest of the corridor because I just see this and the wall. But if we would take it out, and as I said, I don't think this really works because it won't really look right this way round, but I think we're just going to... In fact, actually, is there a door without a knocker? I think I may even take the liberty and use the internal door, because I think this makes a big difference. I don't want a knocker on the back of the door, but if I put the door this way round, when I open the door, that just is so much more inviting. Like it, because the door opens that way, it brings me into the corridor rather than just kind of locking me into that space. So that was all very long-winded intro. Obviously, I'm just going to accept the fact that this is now an internal door. It doesn't quite look right. But I do think that makes a big difference to the flow. So right, I'm going to jump ahead a bit, guys. I will show you a bit of progress. Try not to jump too far ahead. And then, yeah, we'll step through this one together. All right, back in a bit. Okay, so I'm already kind of liking this, actually. It's coming together. So a couple of sofas in here. I went for the Emily sofa, mainly because it fits really well in that space. And it's a relatively small room. So I don't want massive sofas in here. I knew I was going to have 2 sofas in here. So, yeah, felt they worked quite well. And that's one of the chairs from that set as well. 2 rugs, nice low coffee table. Because it is, it's a relatively narrow room, but quite long. So I'm all right to lose this space back here. So use this. Yeah, I think that's the thing. What I worked out in my head was because you're actually quite far from the TV, so having a taller unit there makes a bit of a difference. I very rarely put the radiators in, but yeah, it felt like it made sense in that space just to kind of have a radiator there. So I think the next thing is the window dressings. So doors and windows. So I haven't used these yet, but they've actually put in these Roman blinds now. So we might actually use... So at this stage, I haven't really decided on a colour scheme or anything. I've gone with everything sort of fairly... Just go back to the room a second. Everything is really neutral. Obviously, we've got a bit of grey in there. There's grey in here. Although maybe that's sort of slightly bluer. And we haven't decided on the walls yet. I'm considering... As I said, I think I said this in the last episode, because I really love this brick texture. I may paint that wall and then leave this wall and this wall brick. I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to paint them until I kind of have decided on my accent colours, really. So this is probably the first opportunity where we can decide on an accent colour. What's that look like? Teal. So do these go... It's going to be pretty bold, but let's have a little look-see. Will they go on this as well? No, they won't. That's a bit of a shame. So they won't go over the big doors. Well, so will nothing go over the big doors? Doors and windows. I suppose... I don't really like the curtains, that's the trouble. And they don't have the teal in the curtains, which is annoying. Game. Why have we not got colours consistent by now? It's just a bit frustrating. Oh, you can't paste them over the doors anyway. Okay, well that solves that problem. Yeah, it's a bit of annoyance that, because obviously in a house you wouldn't have these as they don't really work, do they? They're much more like sort of bathroom or kitchen sort of dressing thing. Yeah, but as I say, you wouldn't really have... there's these ones with the patterns. I think it's just the style. I think it's just the style of them that doesn't really... I mean, it'd be lovely to have some actual kind of wooden shutters. Like Venetian blinds. Because I always end up using these. Because I think they make a bit of a difference visually to how a room kind of looks. And because you can't paint the windows... Can't paint the window frames, you can't change the window frames. You're a bit sort of stuck, and sometimes I just think it looks better just to hide them away. But yeah, as I said, in the house you would really have some way of covering this window. Just check the normal blinds. I'm pretty sure these aren't going to work though. Yeah, because it doesn't see that as a window, right? So it doesn't think it will work. So we're yet to find any kind of feature colour here. That was a shame, because I was hoping that would make give us a bit of a step forward. So next I think I'm going to do some lighting. So this this is a big enough room to use one of the big uplighters, I think. I also think the lights make quite a big difference usually to the aesthetic of a room, because you just get a softer light, and that yellowy light. So you look at the light from up there, it's white, and this is much more yellowy light. So it just makes a room, often sort of seems to just make a room feel a bit warmer. So we might actually do a little coffee table down here. I think that's what we'll go. So we'll get, how big is that one? Just put that there for a second. I want to see the difference between that one and that one. There's no difference between that one and that one. Strange. I mean, there's a very tiny little difference in them. That one's got, is that one solid? I think maybe that one's solid. Yeah, and that one you can see the light bulb. Okay, I think we prefer the one with the light bulb. So let's find ourselves a little table. Furniture. Tables. You don't want to look, it's not really a coffee table, it's like an occasional table. I think none of those are right. Where were the tables? I just saw, oh, what's this coffee table? Is it small? This is small enough. I think we'll stay in the white there, or in the grey there. And we'll go with this on there. Yeah, they're starting to come together. So I might do a little bit more thinking, a little bit more development of this, just to give it a bit more. Let's turn that on a second. Yeah, it's definitely looking nice. It's coming together. Yeah, give me a little bit of time. I'll put some more decorations in here, and then I'll come back. Okay, this is pretty light touch, this one actually, but I'm quite happy with the way this has come together. So I picked out this big bit of artwork. That I think I may have used before. I'm not sure. I think it is definitely one that I've put inside a frame. So I picked that picture out from Google somewhere, and put it in a frame in Photoshop. I painted these two walls. This kind of I think that's the silver. That one there, and then this is the light grey. So there's just a bit of difference, but not a big difference. And then I've left this one brick. Put some mirrors up there. Actually, that looks like slightly out of alignment. Ugh, it's one of those things. It's not going to let me do it. Wish I hadn't noticed that now. Eek. Can I move that one? That one's better. That's better. Okay, fine. Everything's fine in the world again. So yeah, bit of just a bit of decoration, bit of stuff to make it look like it's lived in. Put the speaker up there, or the amplifier up there, to look like a stereo. Some decorations, a speaker down there, a little book, bit of foliage, nothing too complicated. Looks nice and fresh. Oh, I also kind of just cleared up the back garden a bit there. Just put this little deck out, which I'm not going to do in this episode, but yeah, I think that's pretty good. Pretty happy with that one so far. So I think maybe we'll move on to this room now. Yeah, right, back in a little bit then, guys. So yeah, all I've done so far in this room is added this fireplace in, which that effect seems to drop my FPS quite a bit. But yes, so let's have a little stab at this room, and then I'll bring you back. So I actually just checked the time on the video, and we have plenty of time in this episode, so I thought I would bring you along for this one and do it in a slightly different way. So I haven't changed anything in this room yet. So the main thing obviously is, I did add that fireplace. I think I already added that fireplace when I did the last cut though. So the main thing in this room then is obviously the table. So this is going to be the key to this whole room really. So I think I tend to kind of focus, yeah, I think that's maybe a way I generally often do things. I focus on the focal points in the room. So like, yeah, for this there's only really one place the TV can go. I'm not a big fan of having flat TVs on the wall. Often you're too far away anyway from the screen. So this was how I laid this out, based on the fact that I wanted the two focal points to either be the TV or looking out into the garden. So that was kind of the first point I did. So we're going to do the same in here, and we're going to have a look at the tables. Options for the tables. I feel like a little bit like I've lost track of some of the got so many different sort of furniture variants now. I feel like sometimes I've kind of lost track of it. The other thing that's kind of a little bit annoying about this, if you're watching, any of you awesome peeps are watching, can we get these like arranged in some sort of order? Because we've got old school tables up here. Then we go into coffee tables, and then we go back into old school tables. And I know why that is. It's because they've added them at different times. But it does actually make it quite easy to miss stuff. I'm going to turn that fire off because it kills my FPS a bit. I tend to always go with a round table. That's way too tiny. So that's a coffee table, right? Okay. Let's coffee tables again. So those are proper tables. Maybe glass table. Not sure about the base of it though. I'm also not massively sure about the back door into the dining room. So one of the people, when I posted a picture of this in the Discord, one of the Housewebber Discords, someone commented, apologies if you're watching the video, I can't actually remember your name, but something very valid was about, that they had, when they had done this room, that they had made this almost like a boot room, because it's a big garden, and coming in from the garden into a room that isn't kind of okay to be muddy wouldn't be great. And that has sort of made me wonder about my logic of using this as a dining room, but just sort of makes sense to me in terms of the layout of the house now, the kitchen into a dining space. I was kind of tempted to add some little building on the back, but when I came out and looked, I realised that I actually can't really do that because of this position of this window. So I was tempted to try and build a little porch out, but it doesn't really look great when you have it alongside a normal house. So it's a bit frustrating that that's not going to be working. So I think we're going to stick with this is the one I always use, because this is like always a best proportioned option for this sort of size. So let's just put that down for a minute. I'll just have a look at a couple of options. So those are back to coffee tables, those are normal tables again. What about just a square one? That's not too bad. Let's move that out of the way. We'll keep that just for a second. Just put it over there. Yeah, that's not too bad. That could work. Do we want some other units in here? So it could, it can go reasonably over. Like there. I don't know. I'm a bit unsure about this room. I'm always a little bit unsure about every room I ever do, I think. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I think I prefer the round ones. Go back to the round ones. The round ones just, I don't know what it is. I think it's just the bottoms look a bit chunkier. Why am I standing on the table? I'm standing on the table because I'm going to do the blinds. Because sometimes, I know I'm massively contradicting myself in this episode, but sometimes you just get a bit of a feeling that feels things don't kind of feel right. Is that going to work? I feel like it's not going to let me put both sets of curtains up there because they overlap. Or maybe we'll get away with it. I don't actually know which ones I've put up there. I just put some in. Didn't even look what colour I was using. So let's use the blue. Is it cyan? It's more of a dark blue, isn't it? We've got bits of blue in there, so let's use that. Continue that blue in here. It might be a bit much. Let's have a quick look. See. Yeah. So what I was saying is, I never feel 100% confident about any room that I'm doing until it kind of comes together. Let's just have a look at what they look like as well, because they may well work in this room. Yeah, I tend to be. Yeah, those are definitely better. I tend to I think it's a lot of general kind of trial and error with what I'm doing. Can you not? Oh, you can. Can you put this in these windows? Is this a thing? Yeah. 1. Is it going to let me put all 3 of them in? 2. Is it going to let me put the middle one in? Yes. Okay, this is going to be interesting. See what this looks like. Yeah, sometimes I just feel like until it comes together, I'm not really ever entirely kind of happy with it. Actually, that looks pretty cool. I'm not happy with that. I'm happy with that little bit. Yeah, so generally what I find is that I get a picture in my head to an extent when I put a room down, but then I think I just kind of do it and like just keep working at it, keep fiddling with that till I'm happy. But it is some for me, it's the small things that make a real difference. That this is not one of those cases where we've got like random ordering of things again. Yeah, it's such small things that make a difference to whether a room feels right or not. It's a bit like it's clipped into the surface, but it's not. And I think this is the way I do most games. I mean, most of the games I play are creative games. If you haven't watched any of the other stuff, it's generally all kind of, I guess, of a theme that's like sandboxy, building kind of dealy. Might be a bit much with all this blue. Let's go with the grey. Maybe we'll mix it up. Actually, go with grey and blue. But yeah, I think my methodology is generally just that I carry on doing stuff to something, carry on detailing until I consider it to be. Oh, excuse me if you can hear that beeping sound in the background, but yeah, I tend to find that if I just carry on doing stuff to a build or something, that it tends to feel like it works. I go with an element of realism, but not obsessively. I find that, I mean, probably more so in House Flipper, but I probably just go with an idea of trying to just make things feel lived in, but not to a point where I'm obsessing over it. Alright, so I'm going to finish this one off. It's pretty close now. It's coming together. I'm pretty happy with that so far. So let me finish this off and I'll bring you back in once I've put in the details. Okay, and that is that one. So yeah, I just adjusted the lights there a little bit. I turned this big lamp off actually because it's a bit stark. I think this is a bit more cozy with the firelight and the lamps. I think do the job. Again, as I said, it's just that yellow light. It's just a bit nicer. It just makes it look a bit more. I think maybe a bit more upmarket or something. I kind of added a little bit of carpet into where the back door is, just so obviously because you're coming in from outside, as I mentioned before. And then yeah, just some accessories, nothing super complicated. All the standard stuff from the game, all the lovely new decorations. I really love these actually. Just adding these in, I think, just helps a little bit. yeah, makes a little bit more sense to some areas. Actually, that needs to have a plug socket. So yeah, I'm going to try and sort of do that a bit more often. I'm not sure when these came into the game, but it wasn't that long ago. But they just add a little touch of realism. Obviously, there's no cable and stuff running from those lamps and whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to resist that one. So yeah, pretty happy with that one. Do let me know what you think, guys. I love the new stacking of books thing that you can do as well, if you haven't seen that so far. It's a relatively new thing that they added. In fact, let me just show you that super quickly. So if you just take a book now, you now get this extra option, which is Q to rotate. So there's my normal rotation, and there is an additional rotation. So I don't know how difficult that is for them to do, but it would be lovely if we just had it on everything else. It just would be, yeah, there would be times when it would be useful to be able to rotate things across the other plane as well. So yeah, pretty happy with that one. It doesn't know this is a dining room. I'm going to do a video at some point. I keep saying I'm going to do this. I keep meaning to do this, but at some point I'm going to do a video that explains what are the ingredients that it needs. Oh, is that turned off? That turns off this light as well. Of course it does, because it's a big kitchen. Yeah, what are the parameters that it uses to determine whether a room is a particular type of room? So there are particular bits of furniture and stuff. But for now, we can live with that being lit up and all being on the same switch, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure which one we'll do next. Maybe, I mean, there's going to be a few, I think, smaller rooms to do next. So we might just do a bit of a kind of clean up on some of the rest of it in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. It is always appreciated. Oh, I'm super excited for that HDTV release, by the way. Yeah, my name is Taves. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.